All right, guys, so this is the second part of the midterm review. The first part has to do with calculators, so we'll go ahead and do that one. It says determine the correlation coefficient, which is R, of the following, and determine whether or not it's strong or weak. Now, they're not going to tell you find R. They're going to say correlation coefficient, so make sure you know that, because if you do, it's a fairly easy problem. Now, this is on our calculator. If we want to know R, first we have to turn on diagnostics, hit second zero. Oops, let me just do that right. Hit second zero. It'll take you into the catalog. Then you need to scroll down to diagnostic on and hit enter twice. When it says done, that means it'll give you your R value. Now we need to enter our lists into our calculator. So you go to stat and edit. L1 is your X values, L2 is your Y's. You can see I already have them put in. Now once you have them all put in, check it, make sure they're right. Then hit stat, go to the right to the calculate, hit 4, and enter. And what we want is that R value. It told us that R equals 0.255. Now we need to know whether or not that's a strong or weak correlation. So what we're going to do is say if R is less than 0.5, it's weak. If R is greater than or equal to 0.5, it's strong. So if we look at this one, 0.255 is less than 0.5, so it is a weak correlation. Now the other one is exactly the same. You'd have to go back into stat and edit, and then you'd have to change your values. If you do that one, remember you're entering your X's in L1, your Y's in L2. You should get the correlation R to be 0.7. 0.7 is above 0.5, so it is a strong correlation. So guys, that's a go-to easy question. Make sure you put them in your calculator correctly and make sure you use R and not R squared. All right, let's go to the next one. This is talking about solutions to systems. This is where we're going to use elimination or substitution to solve. Now, if I look at the first one, 2x minus 3y equals 12, negative y minus 14 equals negative 4x. That is not set up for elimination, so let's use substitution. I'm going to solve for y here, because if I do, I can get a y by itself and I won't have any fractions. So I'm going to add 14 to both sides. Now I have negative y equals negative 4x plus 14. Remember, numbers and x's cannot combine with addition. Now I can't have negative y, so divide each side by negative 1. And I get y equals 4x minus 14. Now, once we have it solved for y, we can substitute the y into the other equation. So I'm going to rewrite the top equation. I have 2x minus 3 times what y equals, which is 4x minus 14 equals 12. Now, if I distribute, I can solve for x and use that to plug in to find y. So I have 2x, negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. Negative 3 times negative 14 is positive 42, and that equals 12. I combine my like terms. 2x minus 12x is negative 10x, plus 42 equals 12. I need to solve for x, so I subtract 42 from both sides. I get negative 10x equals negative 30. And then I divide both sides by negative 10 to get x by itself. And I get x equals 3. Now, once I have that 3 for x, I can plug it into my other equation for x. So I have y equals 4 times 3 minus 14, which gives me y equals negative 2. So my answer is 3, negative 2. But remember, this is a multiple choice test. If you're not sure, you could always take some answers, plug them in and see if they work. Because if they don't work in both of them, then it's obviously not an answer. Now let's move over to the next one on the right. X minus 2y equals negative 4. 2x minus 4y equals 4. Now this one is set up for elimination, so you just kind of need to choose what variable you're going to eliminate. I'm going to try to eliminate the x's. So if I can make the top one negative 2x, that would cancel them out. So I'm going to multiply the top by negative 2. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2y is plus 4y. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. Since now that I've distributed, I didn't change the second equation, so I can rewrite it. 2x minus 4y equals 4. And now let's add those together. Negative 2x plus 2x cancels out. Positive 4y minus 4y cancels out as well, meaning I have 0 on the left side. And 8 plus 4 is 12. Well, 0 does not equal 12. That's a false statement. So the answer is no solution. So if you get two numbers that don't equal each other and it's false, then the answer is no solution. Now, if we get the last one on this page, it's also set up for elimination. I'm going to say let's cancel out the y's this time. So if I can make that 3 into negative 6, that would work. So again, I'm going to multiply by negative 2. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times 3y is minus 6y. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. I didn't change my second equation, so I'm going to rewrite it. 4x plus 6y equals 8. Negative 4x plus 4x cancels. Negative 6y plus 6y cancels, so I have 0. Negative 8 plus 8 is also 0. Now 0 equals 0 is true, so this is infinitely many solutions. But we could also say, sorry, my pen is messing up there, infinitely many. We could also say that it's all real numbers. And remember that the sign for that is the R with the double back. So you can have no solution if the statement that we end with is false. It can be infinitely many if the statement we end with is true. All right, let's go to the next page. We've got some easy ones over here. These are some go-to ones, so I would make sure and look over these. It says, what's the equation of a line that passes through the point 9, negative 3? It has a slope of 2/3. Now, when you see something like this, when you have a point and a slope, think about the point-slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. They gave us an x1 and a y1, and they gave us m when they gave us the slope. So let's plug those in. So I have y minus y1, which is negative 3. So I have a boom, boom, equals our slope 2/3 times x minus x1, which is 9. Now I can distribute my 2/3. So I have y plus 3 equals 2/3 x. And guys, use your calculator with fractions if you're not sure. 2/3 times negative 9 is negative 6. Now I need it to be y equals, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And I get y equals 2/3 x. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. There's your equation. Now, when you're doing this, once it shows you the slope, you know any equation you're going to get, it's going to have that as the slope. If you see a multiple choice without the 2/3 or whatever your slope is, get rid of it. Let's go to the next one. Number 4 says find the best estimate. Now, this is an estimate of the solution to the system shown on the graph below. Now, if you remember solutions to graphs, we're looking for the intersection. So down here is where the intersection is. Now, it's kind of a bad graph. If you look here, there's negative 1, there's negative 2, there's 1 and 2. So first I want to see how far over I have to go. Well, it's a little over the 1. So I'm going to write maybe 1.2. And then I have to go down, so it's going to be negative, and I go a little past 2, so maybe, I don't know, 2.3. Now that's an estimate. On the test, there won't be answers that are right next to that. So your estimation, wherever you think it is, just pick the best one. You might look at your answers and see where that point is if you plotted it and see if that's close to the intersection. Like I said, they're not going to have an answer that's like 1.1 and negative 2.2. They'll be kind of far away. So be careful, count right, and you should get that one right as well. Let's go to the next one. Number 5, find the slope of each of the following lines. Guys, if you have a graph, it's rise over run. If we're up and to the right, it's positive. Down and to the right is negative. So pick two nice points and count. I've got a point there at negative 1, 0. Another one at 0, 2. That's over 1, up 2. And the slope is positive. So the rise was 2. The run was 1. So my answer is 2. The other slope is negative. I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Looks like I have a nice point here at 0, 2. And maybe another one here at 4, 1. My rise is 1. My run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is negative 1/4. Now the graphs will be better on the test, so please be careful. Those are questions that we should not miss. Let's go to the last page. Now, number 6 is a fairly easy one. It's like our systems, but it's only wanting one equation. At a carnival game, you can win tickets to redeem for candy. The choices are candy bars for 100 tickets, Jolly Ranchers for 10. Write the equation that describes the number of candy bars C and the number of Jolly Ranchers J you could get if you won 350 tickets. So they told us our two variables. Candy is C, Jolly Ranchers are J. Well, if I want to find out how many I can get for 350 tickets, I need to multiply those by the number of tickets they're worth. I have 100 tickets times the number of candy bars I could get, plus my 10 tickets times the number of Jolly Ranchers I can get, and then that equals my total number of tickets, 350. That is it. Now, when you're doing your test, the multiple choices, there'll be some things that don't make sense before you even start. So read it, look at your answer choices, and see if there are things in there that don't make sense, and get rid of them. Let's go to the next one, probably the hardest one today. This is wanting us to write the system of inequalities for the system shown, and it should be shaded right there where our answers are. So guys, when you do this one, it's like what we did yesterday. You want to use y equals mx plus b, but it's not going to be equal. We want to use an inequality, but use an inequality. So if we can find the slope of each line in the y-intercept, and remember a couple of things about shading, then we're good to go. Now you need to remember that if it's less than or greater than, that's a dotted line. If it's also equal to, it's solid. So in this one, we should have one of each. If any of your answer choices don't have one of each, get rid of them. I'm going to start with our solid line. I'm just going to call it A. And I'm going to try to find the slope, and I'm going to try to find the y-intercept, okay? Let's see, the slope is going to be negative. I'm going to go ahead and write that. And if I come down here and find two good points like maybe 0, 4, maybe another one here at 3, 2, my rise is 2, my run is 3, so my slope, negative 2/3. The B is the y-intercept. It crosses right here at positive 4. So to write my equation, I write y, leave some space. My m is 2/3 times x. My b is plus 4. Now, if I look at my line, I'm shading above that line, so y has to be bigger, but since it's solid, it also must be equal to. Let's look at the other line. Same basic thing, we just need to find an m and b. I'm going to erase a couple of things on here. For a slope, maybe it looks like here at, I don't know, 0, negative 2, maybe another one here at 3, 0. It's a positive slope that has a rise of 2, a run of 3, so the slope is positive 2/3. It crosses the y-axis at negative 2. So I have y, leave some space, 2/3 x minus 2. It looks like it's shading below the line, so y is less than, and since it's dotted, that's it. Now, some of the answers on your test may be in standard form. If you don't remember, that's ax plus by equals c. So our numbers need to be on the side all by itself where c is. So I'm just going to look at this one right here, and I'm going to add 2/3 x to the other side. Now I have 2/3 x plus y equals 4. I would need to get rid of my fractions, so I'd multiply everything by 3. They give me 2x plus 3y is greater than or equal to 4. Now that's kind of tough, guys, but once you have the equations, you should be able to see that some standard forms won't work. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, guys, number 8. A DVD holder can hold no more than Y DVDs. You have 4 boxes containing X DVDs, and you already put 11 DVDs in the holder. Write an inequality to describe this situation. We know that our DVD case can only hold Y DVDs, and we already put 11 on there. So I'm going to subtract 11 from that Y. I know that can't be bigger than how many DVDs I need to put in. Well, I have 4 boxes containing X DVDs. So that's less than or equal to 4x. But I'd like it to be in y equals, so I'm going to add 11 to both sides. And I get y is less than or equal to 4x plus 11. Now be careful when you do this one on the test. It's a very similar question. Read it. See if any answers don't have stuff that has anything to do with it, okay? Watch your inequality. And you should be able to get rid of some answer choices real quick. So there's number 8. Let's do number 9 and finish this up. It says find the slope of the line below. Well, I need this to be in y equals mx plus b form. Once I have it there, whatever's in front of x is my slope. So I need to solve this equation for y. First thing I'm going to do is move 4x to the other side. So I get negative 3y plus 9 equals negative 4x. Now I need that 9 to move, so I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. I get negative 3y equals negative 4x minus 9. And now to solve for y, I divide everything by negative 3. So I get y equals negative 4 divided by negative 3 is just 4/3 x. Negative 9 divided by negative 3 is plus 3. And I need what's in front of the x value, so my slope is 4/3. Now, guys, if you don't study for these tests, you will not do good. When you study, you might rewrite the question on another piece of paper and try to solve it. There are some that you probably should get right. I would practice those and make sure I've got them. Don't skip over them just because they're easy. Then find the ones that you think you have a good chance of getting, then go to the hard ones, okay? Good luck. I hope this helps.